Welcome, we are going to perform the opera of the fairy tale Hansel Gretel. This opera was written by Engelbert Humperdinck.
Long ago, at the edge of a large spooky forest, there lived a woodcutter with his wife and two children. The boy, who was a little mysterious, was called Hansel, and the girl, who was much more sensible, was called Gretel.
Sadly, the woodcutter was so poor that he barely had either money to buy food for his family, so he went to the market to sell his brooms. His wife went with him, leaving the children alone.
Soon the children became bored, so Gretel decided to teach Hansel a dance.
Unfortunately, as they were finishing their dance, they carelessly knocked a jar of milk off the table. It was the last milk in the house.
Just then their mother came back, and to her horror she saw the milk spilled all over the floor. This made her very angry. She was so cross that she sent the children into the woods to pick strawberries for tea.
In despair, their mother sat down and sobbed. She was sure they would all die of hunger. Then she heard the woodcutter coming home. She told him about the children. When he heard the children had gone, he was shocked, because there was a wicked witch who lived in the woods.
It was well known that the witch turned children into gingerbread, so the mother and father ran hastily into the woods to find Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel had finished picking up strawberries and had been so busy playing and laughing that they had not noticed it was getting dark. Now they began to be frightened. They realized they could not find their way home.
Gretel sat down and began to sing a little children's song. It was about the Sandman who helps the children sleep and gives them sweet dreams by sprinkling sand into them.
A tiny little man stands as still as stone. He wears a purple coat and he's on his own. Saving that man can be, standing there so silently, with his purple coat in the woods alone. His hair is full of gold and his cheeks are red. He wears a little black cap upon his head. Tell me who that man can be, standing there so silently, with a little black cap upon his head.
So the children began to feel tired. It was time to sleep, but before sleeping, Hansel and Gretel sang their evening prayers, and 14 angels gathered round them and guarded them all night.
Down to sleep, 14 angels will be keep. Two are here to watch my head, to the far end of my bed. To God my right hand, to God my left hand. Two of them will gather me, two of them will aid me, and the last two will take me to paradise. When I lay down to sleep, 14 angels will be keep. Two are here to watch my head, to the corner of my bed. To God my right hand, to God my left hand. Two of them will cover me, two of them will wave me, and the last two will take me to paradise.
In the morning, Hansel and Gretel were woken up by the dawn fairies, shaking dewdrops over them. They sang a sweet song to wake the children up.
I'm wide awake each morning to see the new day dawning. Who'll rise for Santa Daisy, who'll sleep in slumber lazy, and with the golden light of day, I'll chase the fading light away. The dew around me shaking, I hear the bell awaking.
When Hansel and Gretel woke up, they noticed an amazing cottage which was made out of gingerbread and covered with delicious sweets and candy. They stared with delight and astonishment at the cottage. They couldn't believe their eyes. They wondered who lived there and thought that the cottage must be magic. a magic cottage. How nice you'd be to eat. And where's the queen? Who enjoys so great a treat. If only she saw us. Perhaps she'd ask us in. Invite us to dinner. But where to begin? If we told her we'd lost our way, perhaps she'd ask us to stay. Suddenly the children heard an eerie sound behind them. They felt petrified. Quick as a flash, an ugly, scrawny old witch jumped out of the house. The children tried to run away, but the witch cast a spell on them.
Hocus pocus, witch's charm, you are frozen by my arm. Do not try, do not try, you are fixed by my evil eye.
It was useless. The children couldn't escape from the cruel witch. She made Hansel stay in a chicken coop and Gretel had to do the housework. The witch is celebrated by singing and dancing.
Hop, 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 galop, lop, lop, my broomstick now can do not lag. The dawn of day, I ride away, I'm here and there and everywhere. At midnight hour, when I can know, to join the witch's dance I go. A witch's song, 5 and 6, a witch's tricks. And 9 is 1, and 10 is none, and 7 is nil, or what she will. And thus I ride till dawn of day. Hop, 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 galop, lop, lop, my broomstick now can do not lag. At dawn of day, I ride away, I'm here and there and everywhere. At midnight hour, when I'm grown to join the witch's dance I go. Three and 4, a witch's law, 5 and 6, a witch's tricks. And 9 is 1, and 10 is none, and 7 is nil, or what she will. And thus I ride till dawn of day.
Day after day, the witch would give Hansel delicious treats to eat. She would even make him hold out his finger to see if he was juicy enough to eat.
However, luckily, the witch had bad eyesight, and Gretel would tell Hansel to hold out a small bone instead of his finger. Soon, the witch lost patience and decided to eat Hansel anyway.
Gretel pretended she didn't know how to use the oven and asked the witch to show her. As the witch was bending over the oven, Gretel pushed her in and shut the door with a big bang.
Hooray! The witch is dead!
Thank goodness, at last the witch is dead. And after a lot of searching in the forest, the mother and father were greatly relieved to find.
Hooray! The witch is dead!
Thank you for listening to our performance of Hansel and Gretel. We hope you enjoy it.